Moving to a new place brings countless positive new experiences, stories, and moments of exploration, but it also brings many questions, especially when you find yourself in a place where people don't speak your language, where the culture feels unfamiliar, and where everything from social norms to daily habits seems different. Coming to Korea and being in Dr. Tizo's class, a question that popped up a lot is what truly is culture? Culture is far more complex than it first seems. Many people, including myself previously, define culture as a way of life or something based on where you're from. But culture truly isn't tied to that. It's shaped by beliefs, practices, and influences a place has picked up over time. Religion, politics, ideology, and shared beliefs all play major roles in shaping culture, but none of these are limited to one country. For example, South Korea's Confucian ideology, Christian influences, and modern democratic system are not elements that solely belong to South Korea. Yet the combination of these and how Korea makes them their own, culture in general is also shaped by history, both personal history and national history. Korea changed extremely rapidly, and its difficult past remains relevant even as new chapters are written. Some aspects stay the same, and others are hard to move on from. History doesn't disappear, and culture doesn't either. It simply evolves as new ideas, events, and identities are added to it. In class, we discussed how solutions eventually become problems themselves. When a new solution is created to fix a problem, it ends up creating a new problem in turn. Culture works in a similar cycle. Culture shapes personality, but personality is shaped by experience. So the question becomes, what experiences shape the culture in the first place? People's actions aren't culture itself, but they're influenced by it, and they also influence it in return. For example, we talked about shame culture in South Korea compared to guilt culture in the West. People adapt what they must do to belong, survive, or fit in. The conditions of a place and the pressures of the society determine those behaviors. Humans naturally want to belong. In South Korea, this can be seen in the strong beauty standards, similar fashion choices, and the pressures to fit in. Fear of shame and fear of not fitting into society have shaped major parts of Korean culture today. How people work, how they dress, and how they think about success, created by customs. But honestly, I think culture is formed more from challenges, not negative necessarily, but from the problems that needed solutions. For example, war and hardship push Koreans to work harder. Fear of shame pushed people to care about appearance and health. These pressures helped create the modern culture Korea is today. Something that caused such pressures that Korea had to go through is the quick modernization and how incredibly fast it had to be. And that speed is a huge part of why the culture feels so intense. Rapid modernization created solutions, but it also created new problems. Values shift as the world becomes more modern. South Korea is a country deeply shaped by culture, yet also shaped by drastic historical change, such as the division in the Korean Peninsula in 1945. It was decided by two American officials who were completely unfamiliar with the Korean history or geography, and they forced South Korea into a situation where modernization was not optional. It became essential for survival. South Korea modernized so quickly because it had to. Without the rapid development that it had, they could not have resisted communist rule or built an economy that was stable enough for them to survive. One powerful theme that we see in South Korea is the ability to find similarities within differences and unite people to create solutions. You can really see this when they are fighting to become a more democratic nation. People from different backgrounds all fought for the same thing so that they could be able to have their voices heard. Korea is such a large example of solving large-scale problems together and doing it so quickly. In Dr. Tizard's article, Understanding Korean Modernization, the term bulan is introduced, a word Koreans use to describe anxiety, worries, and mental health struggles. Many people blame Korea's mental health crisis on various cultural pressures and different groups of people. But as Tizard notes in his article, many people believe that issues will remain until the very root is eradicated without realizing that no country is without its problems. Every country has its issues, and many of them are created through the attempt to solve another issue. Korea rebuilt its identity, strengthened its economy, and lifted itself out of poverty. However, rapid modernization also created new challenges, pressures to be perfect, exhaustion, and loneliness. Over time, new solutions will be created for these problems, and the cycle will continue. Korea might not be the most modern country from some perspectives, but given its history and circumstances, it is as modern as it can be now. Maybe the goal for Korea shouldn't be to be perfect, but it should be to continue the evolution that it has already been able to achieve. I'll leave with one final thought. As a place continues to evolve, don't let the things that happened in the past slip your mind. A place's past stories and culture help us to better understand its people in the way they are today.